this next game. He has to win this one and the following game. Otherwise, we get a grand final reset. So Magnus Carlsen, his work.
It's not going to be easy. Magnus has tried everything now. He's been really dynamic with the way he started the game. The first game, pawn sacrifice. It was that piece for 3 pawns kind of imbalance, that standoff. Second game, he went really kind of wild and wacky with the opening. Didn't pay off. Now, wow, a lot of fans will be pleased, a lot of fans will be devastated. It's the London system, the most Marmite opening out there, Robin, but one that has brought Magnus a lot of success.
I didn't expect a Marmite reference on air today, David, but this London system, a lot of people will be celebrating because there are many critics out there. How could you play the London? It's not a real opening. You're just putting pieces on squares and then you don't know what to do. But for a lot of our newer fans out there who have just started playing the game over the last few years, it's been surging in popularity. It's not a frequent customer at the highest level just because it doesn't have people's ambition to it. But I will say, David, in my experience, it can be quite nice to play from the white side when you just won a game. And for Magnus Carlsen, he needs to get back in the game because he's down by 2 points.
Yeah, he needs to try something different. That's what we're talking about. He's kind of branched out. He's been experimenting a bit, Magnus, today. But I think the kind of conclusion that he's come to is that he needs a quieter game. And understandably so, he's been outplayed. Now he's posing early problems to Firouzja. I'm not sure how much experience Firouzja has against the London system. He just wants simple moves, Magnus. He wants to get out of the opening alive, in good shape, without having to think, where he can just play by instinct. No more calculation, no more walking tightrope, finding only moves. I think despite my love-hate relationship with the London system, a wise choice in this next game. Of course, needing to win is not going to be easy for Magnus, but clock situation already looking positive, Robert, already. Maybe for the first time, forcing Firouzja to think this early.
Well, what Firouzja probably was thinking about is could he sacrifice this pawn on c5? Instead, he defended it with his bishop. But in many variations, especially in must-win territory, you see White grabbing the pawn. It wouldn't have been that easy in this current line. Black also can take on d4 at any moment, although White will take back with the e-pawn, and we will get a Caro-Kann structure. So, David, we saw Vincent Keimer yesterday play an f4 move against Levon Aronian, making sure that Black cannot gain space in the center and the bishop on c8 will be passive. I have to say I like the decision from Magnus. It's risky, you're pushing a pawn, that golden pawn that's near your king, but you have a clear idea. It's to clamp down and stop Black from gaining full activity.
F4 for the score, the stone wall structure. This has multiple names and clear. The dark square strategy that Magnus is going for. He's going to try and bind this position, lock it down, and slowly try to take over territory, suffocate Firouzja later. The e5 squares you're pointing out there, under lock and key, the white knight will most likely leap forward into that post at some point. I'm not sure you want to rush that, but watch out for the black king. It's committed early, and therefore it's a clear signal that Magnus can start attacking that flank, that side of the board, in the near future. First, this dark square strategy we mentioned, really consistent, puts a pawn on a3. All apart from one of the white pawns now are on those dark squares, and yeah, watch out, Robin, for those Greek gift sacrifices. The white bishop on d3, maybe the past pawn is going to be great. White's a3 pawn after capturing an a5, most likely a runner. But rook's pawns are the worst of the bunch when it comes to pushing. You can only support it from one side with the white king, but it's an eternity away. The white king's going to have to commit fully to that side, and suddenly Firouzja will get counterplay on the other flank. It's difficult here. I would say it's kind of 50-50. White is 50% going to win, 50% chance it ends in a draw. Magnus, though, again, kind of a shake of the head, and he goes back, goes passive. Maybe a good practical choice, Robert. He at least keeps the tension as Firouzja gets under 20 seconds.
And we have to note that 2 seconds are added to the player's time after every single turn. That's the increment. So not giving Alireza easy choices. Here comes the black king. White could actually get in trouble in this game if black scoops up the king side. But here comes the white king. You can actually bring your rook after defending this pawn on b2. So h4 first. That makes sense to me to defend the g pawn. And of course, Magnus finds it.
Wow, Magnus finds this move. It looks like it just makes the pawn more vulnerable, closer to the black king in the firing line, but no, you kick the black rook first, and rook to d4 is coming next no matter what, Robert. Yeah, I said 50-50. I think this is growing in Magnus's favour. The evaluation bar agrees rook to d4. Establish that control. King and pawn endings. White is clearly winning the race with the b pawn, a real sprinter. This is just a masterclass. I thought it was fizzling out, but that maneuver with the white king going back in order to go forward, so classy. And okay, rook to d7. He's really asking questions. Firouzja down to 2 seconds, Robert. Oof, this is really living life on the edge. But now, finally, control and the b pawn runs.
And look at that, he gained a tempo because he brought the black king back to h5, moved the rook out the way, and then run these 2 passed pawns on the queen side. Magnus Carlsen, he's done everything right in this game. Yeah, this is just an easy win for a player of his stature. Push your b pawn, give up the g pawn, and keep going. It's not about pawn quantity, it's about the quality.
Yeah, it's about the quality. Black has precisely 0 passed pawns right now. Look at the white rook controlling the g5 pawn, helping shepherding the white queenside pawns forward. Firouzja desperately trying to create a passed pawn of his own. Now expecting that special move en passant, as if the pawn had just moved 1 square. Magnus surely knows about that rule, won't have forgotten about it. What are you thinking about Magnus? There we go, he captures, and the A and B pawns run together. They say 1 pawn runs faster than 2, but here, those 2 on the queenside, Robert, way too far down the board.
That's right, b7 comes, and then rook c8 shuts down the axis of the black rook along the 8th rank, and the b pawn promotes Magnus Carlsen. He wins on time, but he was winning on the board. And look at this, have a match once again. 2-0 start for Alireza Firouzja, but he's the one biting his sweater, and this may be a nail-biting finish.
Yeah, poor